We know you're becoming quite fatigued with the COVID-19 protocols, but they are in place to keep you and your family safe and healthy. Wearing a mask, sanitizing your hands and avoiding crowds are sure to significantly reduce your risk of contracting the virus. We are in this together. Let's all play our part to secure our health. And welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, February 22, 2021. Residents of Olympic Gardens in St. Andrew are to benefit from the construction of a $16 million recreational center. Prime Minister Andrew Holness broke ground on Friday for the facility dubbed the Andrews Muse Health and Recreational Center. The facility will feature a walking and jogging trail for physical activity, an equipped playground for children, and a green space where residents can relax and socialize. Construction of the facility is scheduled to be completed within 8 to 6 weeks. Mr. Holness says the project forms part of ongoing plans to enhance and further develop the constituency of West Central St. Andrew.
The big picture that we are doing here is to create an urban space that is almost like a town center, that is functional for the people who will use it. So right in this area, right on this stretch, you have the infant school, you will have your community park, then a few lots down, you will have the clinic, which there are plans to do a total repair of that clinic. And then right beside it, you will have the Olympic Gardens police station, which will be one of the most modern police stations in Jamaica.
Prime Minister Holness says plans are also in train to build another infant school, a Golden Age home, as well as 2 additional parks in the constituency. Cabinet is to reconsider the allocation of funding for public education and promotion on COVID-19 vaccines. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the move has been prompted by increased public outcry for the COVID-19 vaccine on the island.
You will hear shortly of what that reallocation of those resources will do. We still, however, have to maintain some minimum amount of public education because, as you can imagine, the logistical efforts involved in deploying the vaccine will still require the government to communicate with the citizens time and place and availability and explain to citizens what the vaccines will do, what side effects there could be, if any. So there still has to be some budget for that.
Mr. Holness says the reallocated funds will be channeled to other areas of health, including the acquisition of vaccines. The Prime Minister, meanwhile, reiterated government's commitment to providing safe vaccines to the island.
The government is working assiduously to get supplies of vaccines here in the country. We were very careful to ensure that any vaccine that we are bringing into the country, that it has WHO approval. And that we took the time and effort to ensure that that was the case, because ultimately we want every Jamaican to feel safe taking the vaccine.
He said while the state is working assiduously to get supplies of vaccines into the country, he urged the Jamaicans to follow the protocols set out by the Disaster Risk Management Act to include wearing a mask, hand sanitizing, and abiding by the public gathering limit. Meanwhile, the government has allocated over $5 billion that will cover the cost of procuring COVID-19 vaccines for the vaccination of approximately 2 million persons. In addition, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is to expend some $978 million on other resources to ensure a successful national vaccination program. Among the spend, 30% or $285,957,661 will be used to procure 3.5 million syringes, and another 25% or $232 million will be spent on hiring 80 temporary staff across the 4 regional health authorities. 6% or $54,375,000 is to be spent on upgrading the web-based vaccine management system, an inventory application that tracks the movement of vaccines across the island and produces reports on demand and uptake. Other major line items in the national COVID-19 vaccination budget include a 5% expenditure or $46,200,000 on overtime and other staff benefits, and another $36 million will be spent on data management. In other news, the Bank of Jamaica BOJ is projecting a lower inflation outcome over the next 8 quarters, starting March this year to December 2022. Governor Richard Biles says this will average 5%, which is within the targeted range of 4 to 6%. He was speaking at the bank's quarterly monetary policy report on Friday.
The risk to inflation over the near term, which is the next year, are skewed to the downside, which means that inflation could be lower than we have highlighted here.
Mr. Biles says the downward revision is primarily driven by a lower trajectory for agricultural food price inflation.
Bank of Jamaica will remain focused on ensuring that inflation remains low, stable and predictable within the target range of 4 to 6%, and will deploy additional measures as needed to ensure the continued smooth flow of liquidity to all participants in the financial system.
Application for the Agriculture Ministry's Say Yes to Fresh backyard gardening program is now open until February 28 at midnight. The $10 million program will see 2,500 backyard gardening starter kits being distributed in efforts of encouraging backyard gardening in urban and suburban communities. Agriculture Minister Floyd Green is urging Jamaicans to visit the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA's website at rada.gov.jm to apply. Once the selection process is completed, the beneficiaries will be contacted and directed to pick up their packages at their RADA parish office. During Friday's launch at the Hart College of Construction Services in Portmore, St. Catherine, Agriculture Minister Floyd Green explained that the selection process would be open and transparent, and beneficiaries selected on a first-come, first-served basis, with the young and elderly given preference.
We're looking to say to our Jamaicans that through your backyard garden, you can have access to some of the foods that you consume, some of the foods that you like, as a critical component of your family diet, and in that way also save costs. We're saying that you can increase your nutrition and your health and well-being by really participating in gardening and crop care.
Participating residents are being encouraged to devote a minimum space to produce 2 to 4 crops per year, including vegetables such as pepper, cabbage, tomato, callaloo, pak choy, as well as herbs. And finally, American airline JetBlue has issued an apology to the government and Jamaican people following the recent controversial actions of one of its employees. Chief Executive Officer of JetBlue Airways, Robin Hayes, conveyed the sentiments during a phone call with Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett recently. Mr. Bartlett said he was very heartened by the discussion with Mr. Hayes and looks forward to strengthening the relationship with the airline as JetBlue remains a valued tourism partner. During the discussions, it was also highlighted that the crew member has been suspended while the company continues its investigation. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
To properly carry out a hand rub, apply a palmful of the product in your cupped hand, covering all surfaces. Rub your hands palm to palm. Rub your right palm over the back of your left hand with interlaced fingers and vice versa. Rub your hands palm to palm with fingers interlaced. Rub the back of your fingers to opposing palms with fingers interlocked. Rotationally rub backwards and forwards the clasped fingers of your right hand in your left palm and vice versa. Once your hands are dry, they are now safe.
Have you heard about the My Tree Legacy initiative? Well, it's a project by the Forestry Department which aligns nicely with the 3 Million Trees in 3 Years initiative. It was launched on February 11 and gives past students the chance to plant trees on the campuses of their alma maters. So if you're interested in leaving your tree legacy at your old school, contact the Forestry Department to get on board. They have a wide variety of ornamental seedlings that are sure to brighten up your school. Take a look at one of the plants that could do the trick. They may bloom white, pink, and most definitely yellow flowers. They can be seen from near and far. Bees love them, birds adore them, and humans can't get enough of them. They need no introduction. After all, they're picture perfect. That's the poi. Jamaica is known as the land of wood and water. Its beauty is world-renowned. Adding to that notoriety is the poi plant. Poi, or tabebuya as it is called, is a tropical plant that's native to the Caribbean, South and Central America. It's also known as tree of old or trumpet tree for its showy inflorescence. Poi come in 3 brilliant shades: white, pink, and yellow. The white poi is a rare find. The pink variant is the national flower of El Salvador and Paraguay, while the yellow poi is a Jamaican favorite. This broad-leaved perennial plant is a popular forest tree on the island. Trees can grow up to 150 feet tall, with a trunk averaging a foot in width. The yellow poi is the shortest of the family, followed by the pink strain, with the white poi reaching the highest heights. The poi can be pruned to a desired height, so don't be surprised if you see some short trees around. In the rainy season, the tree is usually evergreen and unassuming. By the dry season, its deciduous nature appears. But that's when the magic happens. The leaves give away the bright bursts of yellow, pink and white clusters of flowers that blanket the tree and later carpet the ground. The large tubular-shaped corolla forms a collection of blossoms which group together to strike a fashionable pose. As blossoms scatter below, new fruit and foliage develop. The fruits of the poi tree are long, slender capsules which split at maturity, exposing their winged seeds, perfect for dispersal. Though planted mostly as a brilliant showpiece, the poi may be used as a timber tree. Its durability, density, resistance to termites and general decay make it a hardy wood in the building and construction industry. Certain species of poi are also grown as honey plants by beekeepers. The tree also serves another purpose, a study reminder for students at the University of the West Indies Mona campus. Legend has it that if students have not begun to study for final exams by the time the poi blooms, then they are sure to fail. The next time you venture outside, be sure to be on the lookout for the poi and feast your eyes on one of nature's most conspicuous beauties. Or better yet, contact the Forestry Department to get a hold of your very own poi plant. It only takes 2 to 3 years to give you a spectacular flower display. Yesterday, we celebrated International Mother Language Day. Today, we highlight how you can play your part in multilingual education.
We are some things we may say.
No. Thank you. Goodbye. Excuse me.
Yes. Please. Hello. I'm sorry.
Wanna play? What's up? Stop. What's a Wi-Fi password?
Come. Wait. Where's the bathroom? What's your name? Drink. Water. What's the name of your school? Where's the town?
Taxi, bus park, shop.
How to get a deaf person's attention. Don't shout at me. Don't throw anything at me. That's dangerous. You can walk beside me and touch me on my shoulder lightly, or you can wave at me. If I'm in a room, you can flicker the lights.
Maintain eye contact. Ensure you're looking directly at the person you're speaking with. Try not to let your eyes wander. Also, it's best to communicate in a room that has good lighting. If it's too dark, communication will be difficult.
Please, make sure you don't have anything in your hands when you're talking to me.
If you cannot sign, you can write, draw, show a picture, or text.
Another way you can communicate with me is by using gestures. You can use your body and your hands to speak. For example, if you don't know the sign for bus, you could use this sign. If you don't know the sign for stop, you could use this gesture.
The second cohort of the Jamaica House Fellowship Program say they've been gaining a wealth of knowledge about the inner workings of the public sector. Let's find out more about the program that gives gifted young Jamaicans a chance to be included in government decision-making.
Jamaica will be at its best when its most talented graduates see a career in public service as among their highest possible ambitions.
And so the Jamaica House Fellowship Program was born. The aim, to expose young Jamaicans to public administration with the hope that they'll make public service their preferred career path. And from all indications, the strategy has been working.
So I am Lavoy Cruikshank. I'm a senior credit analyst here at the National Export-Import Bank of Jamaica, the Exit Bank.
I am Karel Samuda, and I am a special advisor at the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service.
Aubrey Stewart, Data and Research Specialist for the Ministry of National Security.
In 2016, Prime Minister Andrew Holness set out to transform the public sector. One of the avenues was the establishment of a program, the Jamaica House Fellowship, that targets bright young persons and shapes them into becoming efficient and effective leaders. This would be achieved through their participation in governance and policy decision-making processes. These young persons would work on, support, and implement high-priority initiatives and objectives.
The successful candidates enjoy the unique experience of interacting with members of the cabinet and senior officials in the Office of the Prime Minister and other ministries, departments, and agencies.
Each Jamaica House Fellow would receive a 2-year full-time paid internship and get support from technocrats and policymakers within the public sector.
What we are interested in is creating entrepreneurs. We want you to come into the organization, understand the rules, respect the history and tradition, but at the same time, figure out how we can look towards improving those rules, re-engineering those processes to become more efficient.
In 2017, 8 talented young Jamaicans were selected to be a part of the program. They met regularly to create reports, which were later reviewed and submitted. Some of these reports are now being actioned within their respective ministries.
The first one is the Marcus Garvey Public Sector Graduate Scholarship Program that I started while I was a fellow and then continued when I transitioned from the fellowship to my current role. I was there from the conceptual stage until the launch, so I was really excited about that. You will have heard the Minister of Finance speak of the Fiscal Council, the eventual establishment of the Fiscal Council, and I was heavily involved in the development of that, so I'm really excited. And then on another front, I've been working with colleagues here at the Ministry of Finance on our disaster risk financing policy and also our role on the international stage through the Coalition of Finance Ministers for Climate Action.
I was one of the fellows who was appointed to the National Identification System project. I was appointed initially to the Economic Growth Council, and I've worked on key government policies, whether it's from the NHT, whether it's from the whole program as well, and whether it's even assisting with speech development. So it was pretty flexible, and it brought me here to the ministry, which I've worked on quite a number of social intervention strategies and policies. So yeah, it's been exciting.
Working with the EDI project, Youth Empowerment in the Digital Animation Industries, a World Bank funded project which allowed creatives the opportunity to explore themselves and to get the funding to explore themselves. I worked in finance in that program, moving it from the state where it was to the amazing project that it is now. But my work here, I was assigned to the Exit Bank in July 2018 in strategic planning and research, which allowed me to support the management and the managing director here at Exit in the formulation of strategy to allow small businesses access to finance. That has been my favorite project so far.
The program followed up with its second cohort in 2020. This time around, 7 persons were selected.
The resumes, the CVs that I've seen are quite impressive. And I'm hopeful that some of you will decide from early to make the career path that of the public service.
It was a very tedious process from application to being successfully selected. So if it is that you want to apply to become a Jamaica House Fellow, be prepared to go through that rigorous process of selection and to just give your best.
Application forms are downloaded from and filled out on the program's website. Once submitted, applications undergo a 3-tier selection process. Under Level 1, the candidate's qualification is reviewed.
We required an undergraduate degree, minimum of 1 year experience. You had to show that you carried out community work, community service, and you had to upload 2 essays as well, right? We also required the names of 3 referees.
At Level 2, a deeper analysis of the candidate's qualification is conducted. This includes a look at work experience and the level of responsibility of each applicant. There is also the processing of leadership, problem-solving and analytical skills, major accomplishments, and impact made on the community. From that process, the most qualified candidates are shortlisted. And at Level 3, applicants go through an interview process and are required to respond to a case study.
You will get first-hand exposure to policy development. You will get first-hand exposure to policy implementation and project implementation. You will get to understand, the demands that are placed on government. And I hope that will now stimulate thoughts in your minds as to how this can be improved.
Among other things, deliver the following: prepare policy briefs, technical reports, assist with drafting submissions, concept papers, frameworks and systems for comprehensive and integrated implementation of national plans and priorities, carry out general research, qualitative and quantitative. You are also required to participate in any training sessions, seminars, very importantly, think tank sessions.
I'm excited to get my foot into a lot of different projects that I can give my unique perspective as an economist.
I am currently pursuing a master's in public policy and management. So this is all about the application of the theories that I learned.
This would give me the chance to develop my leadership skills and actually apply what I have been learning in the International Youth Fellowship to national development.
I hope to actually, through this program, at least start conversations around creating a more meaningful and a more engaging environment and an enabling environment for the citizens of Jamaica at large.
I hope to give my knowledge base and expertise, my passion, my thirst for service, as well as, as my thirst for knowledge and my team working sensibilities.
We often think leadership is leading from the front, but it is servant leadership that I like to ascribe to, and that is leading through service. And so I want to be able to lead my country, contribute to nation building, but through a service, from a service platform.
It truly is a program that offers prestige. It's an honor and a privilege for me to have been selected from 87 applicants.
Come in, learn as much as you can learn, and the most important thing is for you to display the correct attitude. No matter what you have come with, there's always something more for you to learn.
We all created businesses together, so it has benefited not only me, but the entire group. So trust me, the fellowship has been a total success.
They say that experience is the teacher of all wisdom, and I believe the exposure and the experience you get from the fellowship will impact your life beyond what you would imagine.
When you're given opportunities that may not seem like an immediate fit, sort of still tackle that challenge because they learn so much during that process.
That's all the time we have left on this station, but only for today. We'll be back tomorrow around about the same time. We maintain a constant online presence. There's our website, our YouTube channel, our pages on all the major social media sites. And we have a mobile app that's smartphone compatible. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks so much for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.